To me, I don't really buy that idea. Of course, I know that federal government security, whether bond or TB, is meant to control the fiscal measure in the system, whether to mop up or to do. So, but then, why can't we use this money to really finance the infrastructure gap? When you're serious doing that, then the private sector will be very, very comfortable to know that you are serious about developing your infrastructure. That is my question.
Thank you.
Sorry, please. On the final note, I quite agree with you also, talking about expanding the economic base of the state before you can keep on talking of taxing people here and there. But at the same time, we need the state, most especially the state, the revenue agencies need to be autonomous, fine. But of course, we also need to put right people, the right competency. Revenue agencies, we have some critical agencies that you don't just do a kind of political appointment. You need the right people, the technical competency to do that. Ogun State is a borderline with Lagos State. And the greater part of revenue generation in Nigeria comes from pay as you earn, then followed by land use charge, ground rent, and the rest. But you can't agree with me that when you're talking about pay as you earn, it is based on residency rule. Most of the companies that are in Ota, the Agbara, Ogijo, Axis, all those expatriates reside in Ogun. And when you go there, what they claim to you that, okay, we reside in Lagos. What is government doing about that? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think the last part of your question, I can tell you with a lot of confidence that states bordering residents of Lagos the workers of Lagos residents as they addressed the number three position that we got the last that we said was likely because that has been trapped. The database was created when we were in government. I think that's been addressed and has been built upon. I think I will call on. You want to start so that are there any I would like to address? But I think since Prof is really ready, we can take Prof and then yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. There's so many really important questions, and I'll just get through them because there's not enough time to do that and make some closing remarks here. I think the first question from Professor Badmos talked about SADC or SADC and special development areas. You know, when I gave the example that I gave about my advice to the Lagos State Cabinet shortly after civil rule, the idea was to actually build development corridors. I was examples. SADC is a good example, but even if you go to the US and you look at setting corridors, if you set up satellite cities around Ogiri, around Adebutu, and several places, all feeding Lagos, the way that metropolises grow these days, you will be able to do infrastructure through what is ordinarily a rural area that will change the whole of those areas. And I think that it's something to pay attention to in our planning development. Makiwa, the first Dawn Commission CEO, came to me and spoke extensively about all these suggestions. By the way, I can take some credit for the Dawn Commission initiative because I started pushing it from that very early days. Think of the Southwest as a development region. But even if you focus more on what I like to call the Lagos-Ibadan corridor, create development corridors, you can completely, what Nigeria needs are 3 or 4 of those. You can have rural places that will be quality of life. If those megalopolis corridors, maybe Lagos, Ibadan, Port Harcourt, Aba, Abuja, Kano or something, you will completely transform the place. But we don't have development thinking going on in our country, unfortunately. about federalism and PPP. Absolutely. You cannot have PPP effective without having proper federalism. I tried to show about how Nigeria grew in the first place. It was this competitive communalism, driven largely by Tibaoro's foresight and the response of the other premiers that led to the early growth of Nigeria. So we cannot have proper growth without true federalism. Then there was a lot of negotiation skills that are very important in all of this. As somebody said, Nigeria, corruption, we have a bad reputation. Now, I like always to make that point. We may have a very bad reputation, but one or two good people can change everything. Just one or two good people. And I can tell you the story of Business Day. When Business Day started, it had an agreement, it tried to get an agreement with the Financial Times in London. Financial Times said,